Will Goldstein here, thekingscourt.com. And again, chance to subscribe down there to the videos if you're watching these guys. Working my way through this book little by little, and I get pretty far along in the fourth book. So this is video 25, and he calls this C.S. Lewis in Mere Christianity the three-personal God. You can always check out my music at all the links at my YouTube homepage. There's 12 links there, and also thekingscourt.com. He starts off by reviewing a tiny bit of the last video. He says a man begets a child, and he also makes a statue. God begets Christ, and he makes men. So he's likening men to statues. The reason why I'm saying that is because we really don't fully have spiritual life, because we die and decay. And so we don't have any permanent self-existence that God has. God the Father begets God, something of the same kind as himself. People nowadays, they say, I believe in God, but not a personal God. The mysterious something behind things must be more than a person. Christians offer an idea of what a being beyond personality could be. Other people say God's beyond personality, something impersonal. If you're looking for something supernatural, well, then the Christian idea is the only one that's really on the market. That's what he says. Some people think after this life, perhaps several lives, if you believe in reincarnation or transmigration, human souls will be absorbed into God, like a drop of water into the sea. Of course, that is the end of the drop. If that is what happens, being absorbed is really the same as ceasing to exist. Only the Christians have any sort of idea how human souls can be taken up into life in God and still somehow remain themselves, very much, in fact, more than what they were before. The whole purpose that we exist is really to be taken into the life of God from a Christian viewpoint. In space, he's talking about different directions, so you left or right or backwards or forwards or up or down, and every direction is really a compromise between them, some sort of angle, maybe another way to say it. There, everybody knows the three dimensions. One dimension is really just a straight line. 2 dimensions is a figure of some sort. 3 dimensions, well, then you can finally have a solid body. As you advance to more complicated levels, things you found in simpler levels, you still have them, but now you have them in a new sort of way. The Christian account of God is the same sort of principle. The human level is very simple. It's one person is one being. 2 persons are 2 separate beings. On the divine level, you still find personalities combined in new ways which we cannot imagine. He's talking about God. In God's dimension, you find a being of 3 persons, and yet somehow remaining as one being. We cannot conceive of a being like that. We can only get a faint notion. When we do, we are getting some idea of something super personal, something we could never have guessed ourselves. Yet, it fits so well with all the things we already know about God. You may ask, if we cannot imagine 3-personal being, then why are we talking about him? What matters is being drawn into that 3-personal being. That's what really matters. An ordinary Christian prays. He's trying to get in touch with God. He knows what is prompting him is God. God is inside him. He knows that real knowledge of God comes through the man who is God, that being Christ, who's standing beside him and helping him to pray, and also he's praying for him. God is the thing to which we are praying, the goal that we are trying to reach, the thing inside pushing us on. God is also the road to that goal, going on where a man is saying his prayers, being caught up into a higher kind of life, a spiritual life, pulled into God while remaining himself. This is really theology. People know about God in a vague way. A man claimed to be God is not the sort of man you could really dismiss as a lunatic because of the wisdom that he said. He made people believe in him. He met them after they had seen him killed. They formed a Christian community and found God and signed them as well, directing them, making them able to do things that they could never have done before. And they found the three-personal God. If you want to know a human person, you have to win his confidence. It takes two to make a friendship. When it comes to knowing God, the initiative lies really on his behalf. He does not always show himself. Nothing you can really do will enable you to find him. It's his discretion. He shows more of himself to some people than he does to others. And it's really not because he has favorites. It's really because it's impossible for him to show himself to a mind or a character that's in completely the wrong condition. So there's a certain mindset that you have to have within you for God really to reveal himself. Sunlight cannot be reflected in a dusty mirror. It reflects much better if the mirror is clean and you can see clearly. The sciences uses instruments, things like microscopes and telescopes. The instruments that we see God through is ourself. If your eye is single, your whole body will be full of light. If a man's self is not kept clean and bright, the light, his glimpse of God will be blurred. It's just sort of like seeing the moon through a dirty telescope. And he's really talking about purification here. In the Beatitudes it says, the pure in heart shall see God. Purification is the basis of mysticism and illumination. Something that I'm just adding there. It fits perfectly with what he's saying. Wicked nations have wicked religions, and it's because they're looking at God through a dirty lens. God can show himself as he really is to what he calls real men who are united together in a body, loving one another. They're good, they're helping one another. But that is what God really means humanity to be. He means them to be like players in a band or organs in one body, the body of Christ. The one adequate instrument for learning about God is the Christian community. We're all waiting for him together, the Christian brotherhood. Christianity is not something we're making up like people who are inventing other religions. We are simply dealing with the fact. One can be simple if he wants to be, if he has no interest in facts to bother about.